Honor. I think, can I expound on that, or do you just want one word? I think honor, worship is a very interesting thing because we've created this culture where worship is just music. Well, that's what we call it. We've started to almost worship the music over really defining what it is. And I think mostly what worship is when we follow the way of Jesus, the greatest worship I think we can do is resemble him the best that we can to this world. So we're bringing the kingdom of heaven. And there is no greater worship to me than bringing the kingdom of heaven to an environment where we're actually in the kingdom of earth. And so worship is anytime you can bring the nature of God to somebody else. And I think that's honoring to the creator, who we choose to believe in. So I would say honor. There's a whole lot more things that could be said, but if I chose one word, it would be just honor. We keep using the word worship and making it, we just automatically go to music, right? Like, how would you do worship? Well, I think we're doing worship right now. We're talking about Jesus. We're trying to influence people, hopefully, or give insight into who God is. That's an act of worship every bit as much as if I had my guitar singing. But I think our culture has made worship music. That's kind of where we've gone. And I think you get people in a room and you talk about Jesus, or you do something that's Christlike. That's as much worship as, sitting down and having 3 songs and singing somebody else's songs, basically. I think it would become less routine, and I think we'd have to be more thoughtful toward what we were doing as a church body. I think a lot because I don't know the answers, right? But I do believe that one of the issues that we've always had, and I think human beings have, is that we are creatures of habit and creatures of copy. And like I said earlier, we see something that works, right? And we think we all have to do that because we really want success. And I think, we go, well, this church has good worship and this church has good worship. And I will be honest, quality is a big thing when you're trying to connect people to Jesus. So it's not like anybody who can't do anything can go up there and lead people in songs, because quality is a thing. But I think we just have made it so much about the worship performance that sometimes we miss the worship purpose. And I think it would drastically change because I think it would make people thoughtful, right? And I think it would make people intentional. And I think it would make it more individual. And I think in Christianity, a lot of times we talk so much about the macro, right? Like we talk about the systems and the performance and the 3 songs. And so rarely do we think about the individuals. And in our worship services, that there are individuals with different stories and different backgrounds, and there are people who are dealing with cancer, and there are people who have been abused. We lump them all and go, hey, or have the same worship service, right? And you have to do that sometimes, but there's a lot of times where we have to think more on an individual level, that God loves individuals and not just groups. And it doesn't matter what group we're in, God looks at you as unique and individual. And I think that's beautiful, and I think we miss that sometimes.